Hey guys, it's Stormcloud. So I'm going to be talking about tilt today. So I thought this would be a good video to do because tilt can affect anyone. It can affect good players, it can affect bad players. Everyone, nobody is immune to tilt from what I've seen really. At any level you can tilt. It's like it's different things for different people too. A lot of the tilt I see is a big one. You have teammates that aren't quite as good, and then you just tilt because you're like, oh, my teammates are bad, and then you're thinking about where your teammates are messing up, and then you're thinking more about what's going wrong in the game than what's going right, and what you can do to change what's going wrong. So for me, a lot of it, I used to have a really tilty mindset where I didn't used to be like this with League of Legends, but then towards there was a period of time, not towards towards the end of where I quit before I started playing it again. Like when I play it now, I'm not like this. But there was a period of time where I was just thinking, oh, my teammates don't follow up on anything I do and stuff like this. And it's like, well, if that's happening, you just gotta play off yourself. You gotta realize the situation. So with Rocket League, say you're in a solo standard game and your teammates just aren't as good as the others. Like there's nothing they can do about their skill level in that individual game. Like, sure, they might be chasing the ball too much. You might be able to say, "Oh, try wait" or something. But a lot of the time, people don't want to listen to you in solo standard. They think that you're being rude. They think you're being negative, which is part of the tilt too. Like, they don't want to listen to other people. Like, even if you're doing a lot better than them, if you say, "Oh, I think you should wait a bit more," they probably won't respond very well to it. People just don't tend to respond well to criticism, even if it's constructive criticism, because it's so easy and it happens a lot where the constructive criticism isn't constructive and it's just criticism. So that's generally why people are so defensive about it. Like a lot of people are just defensive. If you tell me like, oh, I think you need to play a bit behind us because we're, if you're behind us, we don't get scored on. Then I think, okay, maybe that's right. Like I'll take it into consideration. I may not take it as true, but you got to take in what people say. I'm not gonna just rage at them for saying, "Oh, maybe you should play our goalie." Like, I mean, it's a viable option. They're actually like they're thinking about as long as they do it in a nice way. They're not trying to be mean about it. They're not like just having a go at me. If they're actually thinking about it in a positive way, is like constructively, how can we actually win this game? I'm fine with anything. It's all how it's all got to be focused on how do you actually win that game. So a lot of the times there's like you get tilted in game. You'll have okay. Let's just give you an example. Let's just say you have some very shabby teammates in solo standard. So you're pretty much 1v3, right? You know, you have to save all the goals because whenever you're not in goals, it just gets scored on you, even the most basic of saves. So then you have to be the goalie, and then it seems like your teammates can't score on their defense either. So then you have to be the offense too. So what's the easiest way to win that game? What do you have to focus on? Well, you got to focus on you. You can't focus on your teammates at all. So when you have teammates, what I often do is I try and do some passes to them early on. I want to see what they can do. So if I pass to you and you just whiff the ball like 3 times when I pass to you, so it's usually about three. I'll do three test runs, and then if you don't hit the ball after three, then I'm just like, okay, I can't trust you at all. And there's just like I just go by a little system in my head as to what to do with my teammates when I don't trust them. So when I don't trust them, it's what do I focus on? I don't focus on what my teammates are doing at all, because at the point where I've realized they're too bad for me to pass to them, or I can't trust them for basic saves or stuff like that, I've just realized that the only way I'm going to win that game is if I pretty much carry it myself. Because like some games, that's what happens. You just don't have teammates that are a same skill level to the teammates on the enemy team. So say you have let's just say you're an 8 out of 10, right? Let's just give number values to all of this. Say you're an 8 out of 10, right? Your teammates are a 4, and every single one of the enemy teammates is a 6. So that's assuming that you're better. So I'm assuming here that you're better than the other players in the game. So this is just an example that I want to use. It could be different. Like, you mean, even if you're a 6 as well, there are ways that you can carry in that like, even if you have two fours on your team and they have a team full of sixes, there are ways you can win that. You just have to be smarter. But I'm just going to go with, let's say you're an 8, right? You're a lot better than these other players on the pitch. So what do you do when you find out your teammates are 4s and they can't deal with the people who are 6s? Well, you pretty much have to decide that you're going to do pretty much everything. When your teammates are bulldogging, you just have to let them do it. when oh, I'm getting messages. Um, when your teammates are bulldogging, you're just gonna have to let them do it. You're gonna have to figure out a way to not get negative about it. So, even me, I can still get negative about teammates. It happens. But the difference is that I notice it for what it is now. I'm sorry, I'm getting messages spammed at me from everywhere. Don't worry about it. That's me. That's my Skype and my Steam, so don't worry about that. But, I still get it, but it's a different way that I focus on it. Like when I get it in my head, oh, that was like really bad from my teammate there. It's just like, okay, that was a bad play. Is he consistently going to do that? Is it just a one-off thing that he's just whiffed the ball? Like, sure, they might not have the best positioning, but how do you position off of their positioning? Because that's the only thing you can worry about at the end of the day is your play yourself. You can't change someone else's play in this one game of solo standard. It's just not going to happen. Like, if you want to change anyone's play, the only person's play you can change is your own. In this like instance, generally, like you might be able to say something to your teammates, like maybe play a bit more defensively because you're just rushing them and they chip it over you. I mean, that might be something you could say to them, but it depends on the person, right? Because a lot of people take it negatively, so sometimes you just don't want to say anything. Um, so it's just about figuring out ways that you can still do what you need to do to be able to win the game. So, at the end of the day, if you want to get high ranked, what do you need to do to get up to that rank? Well, you need to consistently be a better player than all the players in your current rank. So, if you're playing with teammates who you don't think are that level, I mean, I get that too. I'll play solo stand and think, how did you get here? Like, what sequence of events got you to gold or whatever it was last season? What sequence of events got you here? You seem like you're a bronze player, but I can't do anything about that. They're on my team, and I got to find a way to do well despite that. So I can't. I still don't understand how someone who still ball chases gets into gold and can't hit the ball. Like that makes no sense to me. But they've obviously got there. They're obviously at the same a similar MMR bracket to me, because sometimes it happens as like instant queues. So they're obviously somewhere around my MMR bracket. So it's got to be something they do that works well, right? So sometimes with these players, I find they literally can't defend at all. You put them in defense and they just miss. They cannot hit the ball. But you give them an offensive opportunity and they score. So it's all about figuring out what your teammates can do. So sometimes a lot of the time in solo standard, actually, I'll just play more defensive. Like I'll just play as a third man, because if I play up, a lot of the time it doesn't work. Because if I'm positioning for passes, a lot of the time they won't pass to me. It depends on the team. Like some teams I get are actually really good value. I can really position for passes. They'll actually pass to me. They'll be looking for me. That's really fun for me when that happens. I do try to see if that can happen each game, but a lot of the time the teammates just aren't at the level for that to happen. So what do I do when that doesn't happen? I just try and figure out what my teammates' strengths are, what I can actually trust them to do, and then figure out little things to be able to help deal with my tilts. So what if I'm too focused on their play, I have to start only focusing on my play. I don't look at them at all. I will just watch what I'm doing, watch where the ball's coming, watch how my opponents want to hit the ball. So I'm literally focused on how do I carry pretty much 1v3. That's just what becomes my focus. So I don't get focused on the negatives. Because it's all about when you're tilting, not continuing to focus on the negatives. So you can start tilting, right? I can start tilting in the game I go playing right now. But how I deal with it is different. I try to stop focusing on the negatives and I only focus on myself. And I just put all that pressure or all that I want to win onto myself. Like if I want to win, I got to figure out a way to do it in this game right here. So it never becomes like a thing where you have a chain of like you get bad teammates and you're just like, oh, I'm only losing because of bad teammates. When at the end of the day, if you're a better player, you're gonna win. So there's no point in the thought process of oh, this guy on the enemy team isn't that good. If you lose to them, obviously they've done something that's beaten you, right? Even if it's in a team game, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes it's just a better team. Like, say I go versus another OS Pro team and I don't have people I know on my team. We're probably not going to do as well because other OS Pro teams are good. They're teams. So, when I play against them, what am I trying to do? I still want to win. Like, it's not that I don't want to win, but I'm probably more focused on, just myself, what I'm doing in my own gameplay. Did I make mistakes that, potentially set up my teammates? Sometimes there's nothing you can do. Like sometimes you're in a position where you went and hit the ball, and then your teammate has to hit it, and you're out of position for the next hit, and you can't go make the save or like that, and you're just out of position. And then it's just realizing those situations when you were in that situation. Like, was there a situation in that game where I just couldn't have done anything more? Did they score their only goals when I wasn't in net? Well, sometimes it's just unfortunate and you just got to try and get to net more. That's just all it is. So it's just about focusing on the positives and learning. Because as long as you learn something from each game you play, you're not really losing, right? You're still gaining something. So that's a positive. So really, guys, if you're tilting too hard, maybe take a break, try focus on the positives, not the negatives, and just really work on realizing when it's happening in your own mindset because that's the biggest thing. Like I still get it even now that my mindset's better, I still get it. But it's how I deal with it that's different. So that's just my tips for it, guys. I hope this can help you. But this was my video on Tilt, and have a wonderful day, guys.